Welcome back to Arc Tutorials. This is Bootstrap Framework Live Project Series. A lot of you have written to me asking me to create live projects on Bootstrap, and a lot of you have also written complimenting me for my work because you really enjoy and learn from these live projects. So here we are. I'll be doing a series of live projects on Bootstrap Framework, but today we are going to do this template. It will be a two-column template, and it will have a header and a sidebar. And if you see, we'll also make it responsive on mobile devices. All right. So this is the theme we will attempt today. And as we progress in the series, I'll build other admin tools like with tables, maybe with some layouts, etc. But the idea is to learn and master Bootstrap via live projects. Okay, that's what we are going to build. Everything will be built from scratch. So grab your coffee and let's get started. Do let me know if you have a name in mind for the theme that we will build. I'm waiting for that in the comment section. Okay, so the first things first, what we will do is first we'll put together the template, okay, the structure of the page, and then we will slowly work towards the CSS. Okay, again, I will not do too much of customizations here. The pure reason being that I want you to learn how it's done with natively. Okay, so I'll try and use as many utility classes as possible. That way the customization will be less. Okay, quickly put together the head tag first. I am going to put the meta viewport. Again, these are optional if you are just building a simple template, but it's professional if you build with these things. I'll make this theme available to you for free of cost, so don't worry about it. Focus only on learning. You will get the code and the template. Art tutorials description. Okay, that's enough for the meta tags. Let's add one more thing, which is Arc tutorials theme. Okay, that's the title. The next we'll need is the CDN links. Now CDN is nothing but the content delivery network through which we can easily add Bootstrap into our pages. So you will have a CSS, you'll have a JS. Copy the CSS, link relevant style sheet, add the href. Same way we'll add the JS and copy the JS link and paste it here. So now you have this Bootstrap CSS and JS. Next, we will also need Bootstrap icon CDN. Okay, we'll be using Bootstrap icons in this particular template, so let's link that also. And copy that CSS link, and that's it, done. Okay, so we have the Bootstrap min.css icons and the script. That's all you need on the head section. I hope it's clear. I hope you are with me till here. For the body section, if you take a look at this, we will need a header, right? The top portion. We will need a sidebar and a main content area. When we collapse, we will need these icons to be displayed only on small devices, right? So let's go ahead, work on that now. I'm going to use a header, which is what we will use for the top header. We will have a div, which is the entire page content. Now inside this, we would have a sidebar, all right, and we will have a main section. Okay, so if you look at my structure right now, so we have the header, one page container which is fluid, which means occupy 100% of the page. We have a sidebar and a main content area. This is the simplest structure that you can have of any theme that you want to build, and that's enough. You don't need too many um, structural changes in your web page as such. Alright, so let's work on the header first. Okay, now let me reveal this in the browser and see how it looks. Alright, so it's empty because right now there is no content on it, understandably, right? Alright, so for the header portion, you can just use a component here called navbar. Okay, and there are a lot of options that you can customize, and you can get this kind of a header menu, etc. I'm going to code from scratch. Okay, so like I promised you, and that way you will know how exactly to implement that. So we will use the class navbar. There is an option called sticky top. Now what sticky top does is it will make it stick at the top. Okay, so I'm using this class navbar sticky top. Now for the body background you can use the same bg sorry. Okay, that's the name of the class we can give, or we can anyway we'll give a separate theme kind of a layout, so don't worry on that. I'm using md flex no wrap. Okay, uh, now if you want to add, I'll say no padding and I want a shadow. Okay, so that's the most basic theme design that we can do in terms of the header. Okay, now obviously we'll need a nav brand bar brand. Okay, so what this is, it will do is it will give a logo placeholder. I'm saying it should be column 3, and on large devices it should be 2. um, let's say let's not put any margin and put padding towards right as 3, and this as fs6, and let's just call it white color. Okay, so now this is just a navbar link and I'm calling it arc admin, just arc theme. Okay, now go and refresh the browser. We see a simple header where we have the name. Okay, that's the most basic stuff we can do, but as we progress we will enhance it. Okay, all right, now we will, like I showed you, we will, when we shrink, we should see two options like this, right? And it should look much better, right? So we are going to implement that. So throw in a ul and let's call it navbar nav. Okay, and let's say it will be a flex row because we want it in the same line, and I'll say md don't display on any other device other than medium. Okay, so it will not be displayed if you are on medium or any larger, only on smaller devices. The next we will need is a link. It's a nav item. Okay, now nav item is nothing but the one that will be inside it, so I'm going to say 3 pixel padding, and let's say text should be white color. Close this li. Now in this we'll need a button because we want to click it, so I'm going to call it nav link. Again you can add some padding, margins, give the color text white, and last what we will need, and since we are using the Bootstrap icons, let's go ahead and bring an icon. So you can copy the icon classes directly from Bootstrap icons. You can go here and pick any icon of your choice. Alright, so here you can go and you can see there are so many icons which are available to use. So I'm going to search. Okay, so we have the search, so I'm going to use that, copy this and paste it here. Okay, so this is the class used for search. Okay, let's go ahead and see how it looks now after adding. So it's not visible because we told it explicitly that only on small. So you can see here when you make it large it will go away, so that's fine. Now we'll need one more of this for the menu, so you can search here again for the menu. Close this, close this. There are many options for menu, so You can pick any one of your choice in this icons. So I'm not going to waste your time in selecting this, but let's say I want to use something like this. Okay, menu button. So instead of this, now we'll paste the menu button, and now let's refresh. It's not visible, only on small devices it will be visible. Okay, so we got the icons. Now we can also customize and make it little bigger, so we'll do that. So what we'll do is let's go ahead and add that. So we gave the margin. Okay, that's fine. Text color, this is fine. Okay, so for the header, we can increase the class and height. Again, that's up to us how much we want, but just to give a basic styling, we can add the okay dot navbar, and let's start with the basic background. Okay, now what we'll do is, this is just a basic color, right? So you can give any color, but I am going to choose a color that I have used in my themes. Mostly you would see me using this kind of a dark theme. that's that's something that looks good, and the reason it won't work directly is because you need to override it. So now you see it's little bigger. I can mention height as 40 pixel, so now it's little bigger, right? So if you want even bigger, we can make it something like 60, 65. That's pretty standard across, right? Okay, so we got our header sorted. Now we have the buttons, which looks good on mobile as well, and when you make it large. Okay, perfect. Now we can do next is the work on our sidebar and set it up. Okay, for sidebar we'll keep it simple. We'll use the off canvas. Okay, so what off canvas will do is set it as a position, and easily we can manage that. So that being said, let's start work on the sidebar. So for that, I'll go to my sidebar here, and here for the first thing we'll do is, first let's make this column and say column D3. That means it should be 3 column layout. Okay, we need a border. We need a border on the right side. Okay, so see, I'm using mostly the utility classes. Our the custom style will be very limited. I want you to learn Bootstrap because it has everything built in that you need. So we got the border, we gave column, and I'm saying column on large should be 2, no padding, and let's say bg body. The class name is okay. All right, so that's the sidebar that we will put. Now I told you we will be using a off canvas, right? So let's use that off canvas. Now here I'm saying off canvas on medium devices, right? And what we can also add to this are different variations, and say off canvas end, and we can again give a body class. That's the most basic thing that you would need. We'll give an ID to it, because in the when we start implementing in the script, we will use these IDs. Okay, so that's the one. Now off canvas will have a ID and a title and a body. Okay, so let's give that. So we'll say off canvas header. It will have a header and it will have a body. In the header we can add a simple h5, let's say, and else theme. That's the off canvas header, right? Again, you can give other details that you want on it, but this is the most basic thing that you would need. We will also need off canvas body. This is exactly what will be displayed in your sidebar. Okay, so that's the body. So we can say dmd flex, and we'll say all of this data should be displayed as a column. So we'll write column flex, and then padding 0, and ptlg, and let's say 3, large on 3, and overflow we will say y as auto. That means the height should be automatically scrolled. Now here in the for the body you can just use a simple ULLI, or it can, let's make it a navbar. Okay, so again you can use nav, that's not a problem. You can use as many navs in the place. Okay, so sorry, so we'll use this list as a flex column, and inside the list it will be a nav item, right? So nav and navbar will have nav items, and you can add a link and say dashboard. Okay, let's see if this shows up in the, okay, so we see that our link is appearing and we have the sidebar which is taking it here. So let's add some little bit of styling to jazz it up. So I'm saying sidebar height should be 100, view height. So now you see it is coming totally towards the 100% height. Okay, all right, so once this is done, now we'll customize some more details in terms of how and what icons to show. So for dashboard, let's say we want to use a icon, or I'm going to say home. Home is not there, so you can say dashboard, it's not there. um, so you can pick any icon that we want to use, so there is nothing, um, that's something that's your creativity. So I'm going to use this icon for my home. So let's go ahead, add that to the dashboard. Okay, there is still some more work in terms of how we will display the links, the colors. So that's the perfection we will have to add. Okay, all right, so let's copy this couple of times, the li. That's because you will have the list populated 3 4 5 6 7 8. So when you copy the same thing 8 times, you will get this link. Okay, so don't worry about the link and color and those things. We'll customize as we progress. Those are all fine, minute, tweaking. But so for the color, I'm saying let's use the same color of the theme. Okay, now in the nav link, we have used that. Okay, I think this should all be it. Let's make it more styling. Let's use this class, not in the href, sorry. You can add to the inside the nav item, we can have nav link, so it will automatically have the padding. So copy that. So this is the only piece that is little tricky in this particular episode, at least the sidebar. Main content, those things will flow beautifully with the layout. Okay, so now we have it, right? So now we have the automatic padding which comes with the nav link. So here you can say dot nav link. If it's a nav link, then we will style it to the black color. Okay, so I think it's shaping up well, just like that. So but some more styling, if you change the names and icons, right, it would come close to it. Okay, so we have our these two, right, pages which are almost looking good. We'll need some nav brand styling, etc., but let's go ahead and fix the CSS piece. Okay, so for the CSS we will add some only like I said, little bit of customization, not too much. um, okay, so let's first fix this sidebar. So I'm going to use the navbar brand class. Okay, so what we will do here is, instead of having a height here in the navbar, I'm going to use it on the nav brand and say padding top 0.75 rem, right? I'm sure that you guys know what is rem. Let me know. If not, I'll explain that as part of the um, CSS series that I'm covering. Okay, you might also want to have a box shadow kind of a look, right? So let's put that. Let's add an inset, say -1 pixel, and 0 and 0. Again, RGBA you can use and pass the colors black color, but with a hint of little bit of grayish, right, background. So you can see now the border is coming, it's aligned. So we need to align this sidebar and reset it so that it comes close. So let's do that. What we will do now is work on the sidebar. Okay, so alright, so first on the sidebar thing, what we need is, we don't want to be, it's like this, right? So when I click on it, it should display. When I click, it should hide. So we'll have to add all of that. So let's add it in the CSS itself. I'm going to write a media query, and here I'm going to say min width 768. That means above the medium. And I'm going to say off canvas. Thus, whenever there is sidebar off canvas, let's say large. If that's already added, then position should be, say, webkit sticky, and we'll keep the position as sticky so that it is in one place. And let's say from top it should be 40-50 pixel, whatever. Right, now the next thing we'll do is, this is for the sidebar, right? So inside the same media query, I'm also writing .navbar. If you see the class name that we used to display this entire thing, we don't have one, so we will have to show it. Okay, so we'll give is, let's give a bar search class, and we will say navbar search, say display block. Okay, let's go ahead, refresh, and we can see this is coming fine. The template is looking good, but we still need some positioning on the sidebar. Okay, so we'll work on that. In the sidebar we fix the nav, and let's say this is good. Maybe we need to reset the ULLIs, so let's do that at the body level. And what I'm going to do is just reset simple body, and here we are going to pull that and make it the sidebar. You see the extra space that we don't want. Margin 0, padding 0. Okay, so if you say margin 0, padding 0, then it goes towards the end just like this. Okay, so I'm going to do that on the sidebar, and I think I can add it to the body. Margin 0, padding 0. Okay, so let's, but I think we'll need to add it to the container fluid or to the sidebar. Yeah, to the container fluid. Okay, so we are going to override the container fluid on the page, container fluid, and I'm saying margin 0, padding 0. So now it goes to the extreme left and it's all covered now, so that is good. And it is scrolling, you see here, this is top is sticky, and you see this is also aligned correctly now. Alright, so this looks good so far. When I collapse, I see the buttons that should be displayed, so that is good. Our template is coming close to what we want to achieve. Now let's fix on the sidebar to display and hide how the content should be. But before that, let's, here in the main content, right? Now obviously if you know the grid system, you will know that if you have given 3 columns as the sidebar, automatically the other would become 9 columns. Why? Because the grid is made up of 12 columns. Okay, so remember that every time you give any calculations in terms of um, grid, if you give sidebar as 3 columns, here you can see I'm saying column MD3 and large on 2, right? So for the main section, what I will do is I will give the column as MD9 because 9 plus 3 is 12. Now similarly on large, if you see I gave 2, so here it will become 10. That's right, you know maths. All right. So I am also saying margins, set it to auto, and I'll say pixel should be 4 on medium, margin from top let's say should be 4. Okay, now this is the simplest thing we can do, and just add a h1 and say main content area. Okay, so that's not showing up. I wonder why. Have we closed all the things? We have closed the sidebar, we have closed the main section. All right, now let's see if it's coming at the end. It's coming at the end. That means something is not correct in terms of the padding or something. So I'm going to remove these classes. It's still not coming at the top. Let's see if this is causing the problem. It's not. So this is purely because of the again the margin and the padding that we will put. So let me try and reset that. Okay, so it might be because of this reset that we did, maybe not correctly. Okay, so that's not the problem at all. That's good. Just 1 second. Like I said, I don't edit. This is live coding, as live as it can get, um, under pressure. So yeah, just bear with me a couple of minutes. Let me figure this out. All right, so we have the main content. It's going towards the end. So let's inspect. So we have the main content. It's taking here, and this entire thing is sidebar. Okay, so if you see here, these two are divs. I have not added a row. Okay, always container will come with a row. That's when it will work. So that's the problem. So you might want to debug those things, and you can only learn those when you start working real time. Okay, you can't learn swimming on YouTube. You have to practice. Okay, so now if you see, we got the main content area, and so now we don't think we will need this container reset because it will take 100% IPS. Okay, so that was the problem. So now that is taken care, this is aligned correctly, the links are working on, however it's blue, this is good. Now when I go here, I should click and open the sidebar. Okay, that should be displayed. So that's the only functionality now left. Let's go ahead and quickly fix that, and your template will be ready. Okay, all right, so for that, what the logic will do is on click we have to show and we have to hide. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Now you can do that in multiple ways. We can on click we can bind that event, and we can also get that. All right, so let me start with I'm thinking what's the best way to add it. Let's say just showing this content on the main should be the logic. So we have the ID and we have that particular class that we want to reuse. All right, let's see what we can do. Let me think. Okay, so we can do this by just by CSS also, and let's say on click we can say show or hide. Okay, so what I'll do is on click. So if I want to just copy this here and show it here, right? So on click we show, and okay, so let's do that. So here we have our details that we added as part of the sidebar. Okay, so in this we are going to add one more button here. Okay, and what we will do, we are using this sidebar menu, right? So that's the one that we will refer for shrinking and collapsing. So for the first thing, we will just let's call it button btn link and say close. Okay, or you can just add an X mark. Okay, so what this will do is it's like for opening and closing. Now here we are going to use some data attributes and say data um, attribute, right? So it's a dismiss attribute equal to of canvas. Okay, and what is the data target? So we will say bind it with the target. In our case, it's the side menu. Okay, all right. Let's see. Okay, so there you have it. Opens, it closes. Okay, so not much effort. We are using the binding attributes which are readily built in Bootstrap. Okay, nothing complicated. So like I said, we will try and use minimum of our custom CSS. And okay, so oh, I sorry, I think I saw the wrong one. But okay, let's go ahead and bind that value again. Okay, I hope this episode is going again too long and YouTube has some restrictions on it, but you get the idea. So I will fix up that button closing in the next one, just this one. For today, at least our content is set, our sidebar, our main header, and the main content area is set. This is what we'll use, continue to build, and in the next episode, we will work on this admin layout also, along with fixing the sidebar menu and opening. Right. Thank you so much for joining. It's been wonderful coding these live projects. Really gets me excited. At the same time, it's exhausting. But I hope you will like, share, and I will share this code with you in a repo, and I will ping that URL. Thank you so much for joining. See you in the next episode. We'll continue coding live projects. Thank you.